It does have something to do with childhood. So that interest was first sparked by dinosaur books when I was 2. And the way T-Rex is framed in all kids' books is it's the hero dinosaur.
Mm.
And so I must have imprinted on that. And it wasn't until I was 18 that I identified Tyrannosaurs as a research focus. It was either that or dromaeosaurids, like things like Dromaeosaurus, Deinonychus, Velociraptor. But back in the late 80s, it was clear that the fossil record of dromaeosaurs is really bad. There aren't many specimens that are complete. The North American record is really poor. They're small. There's a bias against them getting preserved. On the other hand, tyrannosaurs are big, preserve easily, and they have a great fossil record in the American West, Canadian West, and also in Asia. And so that was a very easy decision to make because one of the cornerstones of science is to have a robust sample size. Now, tyrannosaurs aren't perfect, but they're better than most other dinosaurs. So it was an easy decision to make, and that sort of steered me to where I am right now.
Mm. You are also known for being a very fierce critic of the commercial fossil market. You don't do a ton of interviews, right?
Well, I don't. It's not that I'm unwilling to do them.
Right.
But I think part of that is, I'm certainly a gadfly. Because, tyrannosaurs tend to be the focus of auctions, going all the way back to Sue in 97 and Gus, which is next week. And that sort of directly affects what I do in a way. We don't know much about dinosaurs. We don't know much about tyrannosaurs, T-Rex in particular. There aren't many of them. And when fossils get sold, to the highest bidder, we lose those data. So in my view as a scientist, fossils are the data. Their value is the information they contain. And we need a robust sample size to really statistically answer some fundamental basic questions, like the difference between males and females. If there is a difference at all, we don't know unless we have a sample size of at least 100. And that's based on their close living relatives, such as living crocodilians. So the market does have a real impact. Your viewers probably know that I published an article last year called T-Rex and Endangered Species, where I counted basically the number of commercially or privately held specimens versus those in museums. And it's a pretty grim picture from a scientific point of view. And so whenever auctions come up, I do get journalists calling me. I just had 2 interview requests this morning regarding the Gus auction that's going to happen soon. But in the meantime, I don't avoid discussion. It's just, it's becomes a topic du jour only intermittently when these big auctions come around. And also, I think another part of it is I'm not involved in developing policy at all. Like, I don't have an active dog in the race, so to speak. So, I don't meet with congressmen or anything like that. So I'm not a policy wonk at all. My priority is to just, do science on tyrannosaurs. That's, I get more out of that than, pursuing these other things. That's for other people to do. And, but I think it's a legitimate scientific concern. Yeah. And so I'm not quiet about it.
What, kind of one of the things that I've always kicked around is like the importance of dinosaur science, paleontology, right?
Yeah.
It is, I'm just going to kind of tee you up because I kind of know, I think what you're going to say about this, but what is the importance of paleontology to you? Why is it worth like protecting in this way?
Right. So if we zoom out to the 400,000 year history of our own species, we've been dithering for almost the entire time. So the Enlightenment, the scientific revolution, only happened 300 years ago. Arguably, we're still in the Enlightenment. And so for a fraction of the time we've been on this planet, we've had no understanding of the real nature of nature. And the fossil record, including dinosaurs and everything all the way back to Precambrian, trace fossils of life, that's direct evidence of the history of life on this planet. Dinosaurs are a part of it. And that's our point of reference for understanding our own place in nature on this planet, in the solar system, in the history of the galaxy, in the history of the universe, the telescope, all the way out. And there's no guarantee that this moment will last. Civilizations do collapse, even those that do extend across continents. They don't last forever. Although I do think we have a good chance at long-standing civilization, notwithstanding global climate change. So dinosaurs are part of the geological document of our own history and the history of life on Earth. It's the only record we have of life anywhere in this galaxy. So from that point of view, we can't lose this moment. It might not last, good chance it will. And we've been totally ignorant of nature for, almost 400,000 years. And that's unacceptable. So we shouldn't compromise our pursuit of knowledge and understanding.
So it's that philosophical point of view that, because there are only so many extant, or I guess extinct life forms, it is a priority in your mind that we got to study all of them to the best of our ability.
Yeah, it's not philosophical. It just bears out statistically. So if we're going to, take measurements and, do correlation tests and stuff like that, we do need a certain number of specimens to get an actual pattern. We don't already know what the patterns are. And so we're at a high risk of compromising that. So it's quite pragmatic in many ways. Certainly there's a philosophical foundation, which is a scientific method, parsimony, hypothesis testing. But that grades from the philosophic to the pragmatic, especially the hypothesis testing and obtaining evidence in an unbiased way. So dinosaurs are part of that civilizational mission to understand nature for what it really is. Because the alternative is what we've been doing for almost, hundreds of thousands of years, is just making things up. And we're in a very good position right now to understand nature in the highest detail, than ever before. And fossils are a part of that project. And in terms of civilization and society, knowing the difference between fantasy and reality has real world consequences, such as, policy, political policy, laws, norms of conduct, norms of education, this sort of thing. So it does have direct consequences for many aspects of daily life that's invisible to people, even regulating pesticides, this sort of thing. It runs the gamut. The scientific mission, that is. And the alternative will just get us into trouble, and it always has.
For the full episode we got this clip from, click that top video there. For more clips, click that playlist right there. You got time for one more, man. Tell them there was traffic or something. Ooh, tell them there was a bear. I was gonna be like, how big was the bear? It's a good excuse.